In this lesson, we'll learn how to make edits to the text and the dimension style. Now, at the end of the last lesson, when we did our print preview, we decided that we need to print everything out at 1 in 200 instead of 1 in 100. Now, all the text that we've been doing so far has been to the scale of 1 in 100 because of the little template that we had brought in. Now, generally, when we need to change a scale, we would go back to where this template came from and we would see what has been predefined for us at 1 in 200. But if you're working on your own project and you don't have those standards available to you, I'm just going to show you the process that you can go through to make changes to those things yourself so that you do know how to make and edit your own dimensions and your own text. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at the text size. So one of the easiest ways to go in and change the size of text is just to double click on it, highlight it, and increase the size using this value. The one problem that you're going to have with that is that that text is still going to be underneath the style of 1 in 100. The issue there is that you're going to have an out of sized text for a certain type of scale of text that it should be. So what we're going to do instead of that is go back to the styles and actually make a new style for ourselves and then change the style of this text, which should increase its size. So to change and make a new style, let's go to Format and Text Style. You can then create a new style by clicking the button New, and then you can type the style name for yourself. So the one I'm going to use here is called AR200. That's the new style that I've just created, and I haven't given it any properties yet. If I have a look at 50, I can see that the text height is 125, and if I double the size then to 100, I can see the text height is 250. So therefore, using the same logic, we need a text size of 500, and also we're going to have the same font, which is going to be Arial. That way, when I apply it, it's going to basically be giving me a size which is twice as big, and everything else should look the same. So if you want to bring up a little toolbar or floating toolbar for yourself for these styles, you can right click in any area, go to AutoCAD, and then just scroll down all the way to styles. And now if I click on these two text objects, I can change the style by going down the menu and going to AR200, which is the one that we've just created. Now once you increase that size, you'll notice that it doesn't increase the size from the reference point where you most likely want it to. So you will need to go and move the text into the right position. One of the issues with doing this, of course, is that you'll need to go and do this to all the text objects and realign them. This is why it is essential to get your scale and your text size correct before you go and copy it anywhere, because now we had already gone and copied the 1 in 100 text size everywhere. So I did this way just so that I could show you why a certain logic is essential, why you need to establish things from the beginning before you copy any single object, and then it will make your life much easier to not have to go back and change it. So the next thing we're going to look at is the dimension size. So pretty much the same set of rules here applies. If we click on a dimension, we can see that we get the same type of text formatting box. We also see that if we click on the dimension and we type Control-1 on our keyboards, we get a list of properties that we can also go through. So certain things can be changed here, your text height can be changed, and so forth. This gives you a little bit more information than that little box that I just showed you earlier. And one of the things that you need to remember is that also the same thing applies here, that changing one single text property but keeping the style the same is going to make it inaccurate. You need to go to your actual dimensions, to the actual styles, and this we're going to get to by typing D enter on our keyboards, and this is the manager for our dimension styles. So here we're going to make a new style. We're going to call it dim 200, and we're going to start with dim 100, use that as our base. So now we're busy editing dimension 200, and we can go in and change the scale of things. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use a scale of 200 here, and I'm going to just do a quick test and have a look at what changes we're going to have. So right now this little bit of dimension is going to be in that style, and I'm going to go back into the style manager and just keep modifying it until I have something that looks correct. So right now I've increased the scale for the features. I'm going to now go to the text size, and instead of the RS100, I'm going to go to the AR200. Once I click on OK and close, you're going to see that the scale is following the same set of text style rules that we established for the text object here. So the dimension itself is going to have that text component that we used and set up there. So once that is done, you can either go in and select each of these and then change the styles here, or you can use the match properties just by typing MA enter and selecting the object that you want to copy from, and then you can just go and paste those properties to all of the other types that you want. So here I can just literally drag it across all of those and everything will be updated for me. So this is what we're now going to do to all of the text and dimensions throughout the entire drawing. The last thing that I wanted to mention in this lesson still is when it comes to these dashed lines, we will need to increase that sizing a little bit more as well. So pretty much the same set of rules here. We click on one of the objects, we highlight it. Let's type Control 1 on our keyboards, and we're going to increase this line type scale to, let's say, 50 to give us a much bigger line. Once you've done the match properties of that line as well, so MA enter here again, you're going to select all of the lines that you want to have larger. It's a good idea to go back into your elevation, type Control P and look at another preview and just see whether this new type of text size looks correct for your size of paper. Again, it's always recommended that you do this in between every set of changes, but also that you make physical printouts of your work so that you can see what it looks like in reality. That is very, very important. And as well, I can't stress enough how important it is to get it right from the beginning, and also to adhere to the standards that there may be within the group or within the office that you're working in. So that is it as far as changing dimensions and text and all of that. We're now going to go into the next lesson where we're going to be filling in a few more details to all of the different drawings. We're also going to be creating text, and we're going to be doing some hatches later on as well. So the changes to the dimensions and the text, I'm going to do the rest myself before starting the next lesson so that all of that is updated for you so that we can get moving as fast as possible.